Hi, my name is Beth, and you're listening to the Canna Fitness and Nutrition Podcast, where we are hanging out at the intersection of fitness, nutrition, and cannabis. Thank you so much for pressing play today. If you did press play today, you're here for a reason, and I am going to explain the hemp ban. I know it's a little bit confusing, and it may be a little bit hard to understand, so I'm going to try to break it down for you the best I can and tell you what that means for Cannabis for Wellness. As you know, or if you're new here, CannaFit is my brand that I created because various forms of cannabis have been helping my clients as a personal trainer and nutrition coach for the last almost 20 years. I found that the most common issues that people run into that are roadblocks for their fitness and nutrition can be helped by cannabis. For example, sleep, right? If you're not sleeping, you're not going to work out, your cravings are going to increase, and cannabis can be an excellent supplement to help you sleep. It's shown to help us fall asleep and stay asleep, and that's just one example. So here's what happened. Let's talk about the hemp ban. To understand, you need to understand two things. One thing is the plant. The first thing is the plant. The plant itself contains both CBD, THC, and all kinds of what we call minor cannabinoids. So CBG, CBN, CBC, all these things are contained in the plant. So when we go to harvest and extract portions, including CBD, which is the non-intoxicating part of the plant, it contains trace amounts of other cannabinoids because it's all from the same plant. And unless they're extracting it in a way that strips all of the other cannabinoids and makes it less pure, then it contains trace amounts. Now in 2018, they passed what they called a farm bill, which it was aimed to help farmers and agriculture by saying that the limit to the amount of trace THC that could be in hemp extractions, so CBD, needed to be under 0.03% of THC per gram. So that actually opened the door because that was easy to do, right? It was easy to have hemp, cannabis, CBD products that had trace amounts, but still maintained the efficacy of the entire cannabinoid, didn't strip part of the benefits. I've talked about this before, but when CBD and THC are used together, as in the whole plant, it works its best, right? They complement each other. You get the best benefits. You get, anti-inflammatory and pain relief. You get to fall asleep and stay asleep. And so it basically opened the world to this, the benefits of the entire cannabis plant. And people call it a loophole, which I guess technically it is, but the manufacturers and the brands all realized that they could create these amazing products that had just a trace amount of THC, barely enough to get you high, enough to have you feel good. Because when that little bit of THC works with the CBD and you're using the whole plant together, it works the best and you get the most benefits. So all these brands and manufacturers created all these products that technically fall under the legal limit of the amount of THC that's allowed, because as we know, full THC is regulated state to state, right? It's federally illegal. Each state has its own regulations. And so that's why you've seen the ability to buy products on the internet, right? You may or may not get a bunch of Facebook and Instagram ads selling you gummies and drinks and powders and mixes that all contain typically under 10 milligrams of THC and are ripe with CBD, CBG, CBN, all of the great cannabinoids. It also opened up a channel for the less pure form of THC. Delta 9 is the purest, and then there are some less pure forms like Delta 8, and that's another thing that manufacturers decided to go for when they saw this loophole is, okay, well, let's sell products that are a little less pure. It still has similar effects and people won't know the difference, right? Which I have mixed emotions. We won't talk about that today. But all in all, what they did was the government decided that they were going to, quote unquote, close the loophole and make the minimum amount of THC present to be 0.4 milligrams of THC per container for consumable hemp products, which in effect bans most edible and drinkable products currently on the market. So they've gone through essentially banning all hemp-derived products because they're saying that the legal limit of THC present needs to be lower, and that they shouldn't be selling these drinkables and edibles on the internet, and they shouldn't be as accessible to those of us in the United States that love them. Here's the problem. One, the hemp-derived industry, so this is all low-dose THC, CBD, CBG, all these good wellness products that barely get you high, are all considered supplements. And as you know, it's my favorite supplement because it works with the endocannabinoid system and works naturally with your body. That's a $28 billion industry. And that industry is effectively crashing or going to crash. The good news is that they have a year to make a difference. So the law doesn't go into effect until November 4th, 2026. And I waited a while to record anything about it because I kind of wanted to hear from all the brands that I, work with, and they are all on board with fighting this legislation. And I foresee that this is going to be a movement of those of us who use cannabis for wellness as a supplement are going to we're just going to fight for our medicine. As you may or may not know, CannaFit, again, my brand, that I'm a personal trainer, a fitness nutrition coach. I have been in fitness for the majority of my career, and it is everything, but there are a lot of things that we need supplements for. I gave a sleep example earlier, recovery, inflammation. When you work out, you get sore. And CBD in particular is an anti-inflammatory, whether in topical form, ingestible form, however you want to use it, it goes a long way into reducing your muscle soreness and helping you recover faster from workouts. Elite athletes use the supplement CBD and low-dose THC to help their performance. Olympic athletes, these are NFL players, these are professional athletes using this as a supplement because it is nature's oldest supplement. It has been around forever. Yes, we all love the fun part of it, the getting high, getting stoned, getting baked, whatever you want to call it, is fun. Absolutely. It makes you feel good. There's no side effects. You don't feel disgusting afterwards like you do when you drink alcohol. So not only is this plant medicinal, but it's recreational in that it's euphoric and it makes you feel good and makes you giggle and laugh and without any side effects or any dangers. And that's what kills me, is that they're using the assumption, it feels like, let me say this, it feels like they're using the assumption that all of us are just getting high and working out or doing whatever, or just getting high, period, and not using the plant as a wellness tool, when that's exactly my purpose. I got into cannabis as an educator and a coach to help share the wellness aspects of it beyond getting high. We all know that's fun. That goes without saying. It's the wellness. How can you use it intentionally? I've talked a ton about how I use it for mindful eating. It gets me in better touch with my body. I'm not stoned. I don't get the munchies. I use it intentionally to relax, calm, and feel what's going on inside my body. And that has made a world of difference to me. So it feels like the legislature just is attacking that and saying that none of that is true and that this has all been just a giant mistake. And that is not at all true. And I know that there are many, many of you out there who also use cannabis for wellness that probably agree with me, right? And so as I learn about ways to advocate for overturning this ban and things, I'll definitely keep you posted, because I'm looking for ways myself to get involved in whatever we need to do to change this. This is ridiculous. Not only is this $28 billion industry going to crash, all the people affected by that, manufacturing, the brands, the farmers, all of that, those people are losing their livelihoods, and all of us are losing our medicine. To make that illegal. The only good news is that you can still grow it yourself. So I've got a couple of CBG plants started in my tent in the basement, which I'm thrilled about because now I don't have to worry. But again, we have let's see, what's today? We have about 360 days to speak up, to say what we need to say, and to help them overturn this legislation. It's disappointing. I don't want to get political on here. It's disappointing that the Congress people did what they did. It's disappointing that no one stood up for it, except for this one senator from Kentucky, and he seemed to be alone. Everybody else was like, yeah, go for it, whatever. They just wanted to reopen the government, and they slipped this in quietly, and it did not get any press. And so that's why it just happened. So that's basically what happened. All of these low dose, in summary, all of these low dose products that have the lowest amount of THC possible, barely gets you high, not a danger, no side effects, not a danger to children, which I know is an argument, and that's ridiculous because one of the most popular brands, Charlotte's Web, was actually designed for children. It saved a little girl's life from this epilepsy she was having. It actually extended her life. She had a death sentence, and it gave her a few more additional years with her family. And, that brand has gone on to succeed because it is that powerful. Cannabis is that powerful. And so that's what's happening, basically. That's what's happening in a nutshell, in a quick summary. If you want any more detailed information, if you have questions about what you're using and what's going to happen with that, shoot me a message. I'll be happy to try to get as many answers as I can for you. I'm happy to explain this in a better way if this didn't make sense. I'm happy to help you navigate this whole thing. And again, if you're looking for ways to get involved, I am too. So you can either let me know what you find, or I'll let you know what I find. Reach out to me. My email is beth@cannafitnessnutrition.com. I hang out mostly on Instagram, where I'm Beth_CannaFitnessNutrition. And as always, thank you so much for pressing play. Feel free to share this with someone that might need a little bit of help with this. And this does not change CannaFit at all, because we are still the brand that helps you find balance with your fitness, nutrition, and cannabis use, to use all three of those things intentionally to find the best balance for your body and feel the best in your body. Thanks again. See you next time.